bien. Come on. Tu l'as fait plein de fois, reste. Allez, t'es capable.
My name is Émilie Pellerin. People usually call me M. I'm a climber.
Allez, allez. Allez, on continue. Allez, tu peux le faire. Allez, allez. Allez, come on. On fait l'effort.
You don't hear much about her. She's pretty undercover still.
There aren't many trad climbers that are climbing at the ability of Emily.
I started climbing when I was 18.
And she started climbing outside, which is pretty rare, like nowadays.
First year, I grabbed some stuff and went to Spain. I thought I was gonna stay out there for a couple weeks. Ended up staying for more than a couple years. I've been pretty much living in a van and a tent, even BV sacks and caves my whole life. The Camp Circuit was not my world. It's not being outside around a campfire and chilling and drinking beer and playing music. It's just not me.
Her heart definitely lies outside. She's got like that spirit of adventure, of like dive into the unknown and do something where you don't really know what the outcome will be.
She's the best onsider I've ever seen anywhere, anytime. She's literally the best onsider around.
Unsighting is super special because you get one chance to do a route for the first time without any information.
And once you've blown it forever.
It's like the full test of who you are.
So the onsite's really the gold standard for rock climbing.
I mean, I think it's the mark of an excellent rock climber, somebody that can on-site difficult gear routes.
The shadow was a little bit of a turning point for M in regards to like that widespread notoriety.
The shadow is this beautiful open book corner on the Chief. It's in a lot of ways I would say it's like Squamish's most beautiful line.
The shadow was originally an 8 climb. It was called the University Wall.
I believe it was like 82 or something. The University Wall was freed.
But we've done major variations to avoid all the wild looking stuff.
They kind of deviated around this shadow pitch, thinking it was too hard. And then Croft came back to Squamish and he did a ground up on site of the pitch.
So that on-site, in the 80s, was one of the most incredible feats of rock climbing at the time in the world. Nobody's ever on-sited it until M came along.
And a lot of people tried. Tommy Caldwell, Alex Honnold, Sonny Trotter. A lot of heavy hitters kind of came up short.
I'd never heard of the climb before I got on it. Just going up to do University Wall, and And as I got to the base of the shadow, I'm like, what the heck is that? Yeah, that corner looked so appealing. I had to go up there.
And it's just kind of that really insecure style of rock climbing.
It's like all this intricate moves where sometimes you'll do like 3 moves to stay in the same place just so you can make one move up.
You can kind of pitch off whenever.
What Em did to me was just the most mind-blowing thing, to on-site that thing.
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna become a pro climber one day. I gave up on that dream.
For Emily, I think the shadow, the onside of the shadow, was that moment where people turn heads. There's more to an athlete than what they're capable of doing within their sport. And what Emily has is that whole package of strength, but also of just being an incredible human, a kind human, and representing the sport in a really positive way.
You know, there's not that many routes that are very hard that you can on-site. If you want to push a level, you kind of need to go and try something. Being in Quebec at that moment in time, it was kind of a no-brainer to go and try something a little harder that would push my limits, and that's actually a challenge.
514 is pretty much like the limit of trad climbing.
I think it's the most impressive feat, much more than a 15B on bolts, you know?
You have a handful of climbers who do that.
A lot of pain tolerance is required.
It takes a lot of effort.
It's a super high level of skill.
It can be quite scary.
It's something that I never believed that I would be able to do.
La Zébrée is this crack climb in Val-David.
It's like a mythical Canadian route, and I think probably because it's in Quebec and not out west here, it just doesn't get the hype that it deserves.
And it's this super aesthetic line.
Wildly overhanging, like a leaning crack.
It's one of the most amazing overhanging crack climbs that I've ever seen.
It looks like nobody would ever be able to climb that shit.
It has a bad reputation of being like very difficult to find conditions, which is like in part true, but also like not as bad as it sounds like.
Every single time I would go on the route, I'd have to get up it, dry it, well, ish, and then come back down and try again. It was a lot of effort.
It's just part of the process, part of the pleasure of climbing it.
So very few people have climbed this.
It's like really difficult. So at first it was the 8 climb. And then eventually Jeff Beaulieu worked it for years and eventually did it with pre-placed gear.
And then 5 years later, Pee-wee managed to place all the pieces on the way up while climbing.
And then Sylvain Massé did it like just after JP. After that, there's been like a long hiatus into the ascents on this climb.
It has been unrepeated until Julian sent it at the beginning of the summer.
Emily and I and Jérôme, we had like this amazing summer on it at Mont King, just like climbing and getting each other really psyched to climb.
I wanted to go repeat that super classic route that I'd heard about.
She's a very experienced climber. She's done like most styles of climbing, and she's like really good at like most of the styles.
You know, when you're out climbing with her, everybody's like, holy shit, who is this person, you know?
As soon as I approached the climb, I was not going for the sand. Like, it was very wet. I didn't even go to the top to dry it because it didn't make sense.
Allez, come on. T'es capable. Allez, come on. Allez. Allez, 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 allez. Allez, allez, allez. Allez, come on. Fais-le, allez. T'es capable.
Holy shit. Oh dear. Fuck yeah! Sick! Je l'ai faite! Merci! Aïe aïe! C'est malade! Merci gang! Aïe aïe, j'y croyais pas, genre zéro là. C'était mouillé, j'étais comme en train de nager en bas là. Yes! Ça va, hein? Tu viens de parler de bruit? Oui. It was very special. And it was something important for me to prove myself that I could actually project something and send it.